Mobile technology started to take off, and my dean was very interested in tablets and particularly in the iPads. So being the chair of the SHP, or School of Health Professions Technology Committee, she charged me with looking into the iPad and seeing its uses for technology in the classroom.
With limited space for our 30 students, we constantly faced issues with delivering tests within Blackboard. As you see, our classroom does not have the capability of housing 30 laptops, as the space does not have the electrical outlets necessary, not to mention all those cords. So we purchased 30 iPads at the fraction of the cost of laptops, along with a cart to house them in 2011. Now the program has an iPad for each student to use in the classroom, along with a convenient stand at each desk.
My theory is, instead of trying to beat them, join them in mobile technology. Instead of trying to hide their iPhones and smartphones and trying to keep them focused on the lesson plan, that we've used the iPads and interactive technology that they have to pay attention and respond to the questions on the iPad. So it leaves very little time for them to text their buddies or to play games on things. We engage them in a way that they are busy the entire time and during the lecture. The way our classroom is set up, it is very hard for every single student to see the board. So with the lecture being right there on their iPads in front of their faces, they can actually see every single slide at the time of the lecture to know where the teacher is pointing to or pointing out anatomy or images or any kind of diagram. They can see it very, very clearly.
Instructors use their PCs to create, edit a mobile-compatible test. Questions may be in the form of image quizzes or hotspots, where students must drag the sticker to the area of interest in an image or drawing. Other types of questions include multiple choice, true-false, short answer, calculated numeric, and others. With the instructor proctoring the exam, he or she can maintain test environment integrity and roam the room to make sure students are not accessing any other app. After the students submit their tests, they can go into My Grades and see what they have scored. The instructor can view all grades in the full grade center and even watch tests that are marked in progress. No more tests to grade, as grades are inputted automatically.
Every year, I have more and more students bringing in their own tablets, and not just iPads, but other technology as well. As long as the apps work on Android as well, they're free to bring in whichever one that they have. And I feel that the learning curve in using mobile technology is drastically reduced. Year after year, it's getting easier and easier to train students in how to do this.
Well, I teach a few online classes, and I use discussion boards in the online classes. And I was finding that the discussion boards weren't working very well for either myself or my students. The students generally seemed to not participate on the discussion boards, or they were posting at the last minute. So there was no discussion going on in the discussion board. So I decided that something different was probably in order. And I decided then that I was going to use blogs in the classroom instead. Blogs are a great tool that allows students to have their own little website where they can post their comments, their research. It includes not only what they've researched, but reflective writing, also incorporating readings from the classroom into their writing. And it's also allows them to be creative in how they create their backgrounds, images that they want to import and put in their little space. So they were more enthusiastic, I found, in creating blogs rather than just posting to the discussion board. We do use a lot of games in the classroom. Typically, I start the class with a game for the week, for example. It's a great icebreaker. The games are normally centered around the topic on hand. They're normally always done in groups. So it's using the games to get the students to come together in a team, collective effort. This way they get to know each other better, makes for a more easier environment to work in when you know your peers. Also, it kind of leads as an introduction to the main topic of the day as well. I've also found that whenever you're using groups in the classroom, there's more peer interaction. And last semester, through the EE STEM grant program, I used working groups as my theme there, and I found that actually their grades improved. Students that were like towards borderline students would go from a C to a B or a B to an A. So I think just that group effort in the classroom where they have somebody else that they know in the class that they can rely on, that they can talk to, helps a lot.
Last spring, in a matter of 2 class periods, I had a couple different students make comments to me. In criminal justice, we require our students to take 3 English classes. And in the first class, a student was complaining, "Professor Lane, why do I have to take so many English classes? This doesn't connect to criminal justice." And I gave my usual spiel of how much writing you have to do in criminal justice. Kind of tucked that into my memory. Next class, a student said, "I'm in the STEM English 106. And I looked at the student and said, "Why are you in the STEM section?" She goes, "I don't know, but I like it. It makes it more entertaining." So putting those 2 conversations together, I went to a WIDAC meeting that afternoon. I made the comment that I want a specialized criminal justice section. My students don't see the relevance, but they get excited even when it's not their topic. They get excited when the English has a focus. And with that, connected here at Essex with the program coordinator in English, and Brooke and I created an English 101 that has a criminal justice theme. An adjunct professor came on board who actually is a Baltimore County police officer who wanted to teach English. The idea is to take all the core components of English 101, but do it through the filter of the criminal justice system. So when you're writing a reflective piece, it's reflecting on something going on in the criminal justice system. As they're looking at doing research, we use a PA format, not MLA, working with that. It's taking any of the different writing pieces, but having it go through the context of criminal justice and themes related to criminal justice. So they're still learning all of the same stuff in 101, but everything is taught through that filter of CJ. This is our first semester doing it. We are doing it as a English 101 class, criminal justice theme, and then we have our regular criminal justice classes. In the future, it is going to be an English 101 and criminal justice 101 learning community, so the 2 will blend and weave a lot stronger than we are right now.
This was all part of the redesign of Math 081, which is the pre-algebra class at CCBC, and it serves about 3,000 students annually at the school. Well, one of my frustrations is that students don't take advantage of all of the resources that they have available to them. Part of the problem, as I saw it, was that these resources were very hard to find. They were located on different professors' websites or in different CCBC campus math department websites. My personal remedy was to hand out a document to my class with a list of links, but I found that even this simple list was not used by my students in an effective way. A Blackboard course was the way to solve this problem. Blackboard is the student's space. Here, we can meet them with all these important resources in a place that is familiar to them and easy for them to access. By providing links to various student services across the campus, the Blackboard course increases students' social capital, introducing them to all of the people at CCBC who can help them with this course and their college experience. I designed the Blackboard course so it can be used in all sections and modes of teaching Math 081. The fully online sections, the face-to-face lecture sections, and the self-paced sections. With the help of Kathy Bergnosky, we were able to gain Quality Matter certification for the fully online version. I was also involved in the major revision of the faculty-written textbook, as well as the organization and production of approximately 500 instructional videos for the course. Students typically use their textbook only for doing homework problems without spending time reading through the text. With a faculty-written textbook, I decided to put the 500 video links into the textbook to make it a little more interactive. Each example problem in the textbook has a similar practice problem that is followed by a video link to the solution of that problem. This made the book more interactive and engaging, and it encouraged students to read and watch the example problems before they try to work through the exercises. I'm extremely thankful to Sarah Miller, Bob Brown, and Greg Stifler for helping to create all of the videos that were linked into the textbook. We've gotten lots of positive response from faculty and students using this Blackboard course with all the resources that are on it, and we feel that it is making a significant difference in the way students are learning this material for Math 081.
So the initial needs that I saw of my students happened to be the fact that they were quiet, fearful, unsure of what it meant to be a college student. So what I decided was I wanted to create a creative environment for them, to allow them to express themselves without fear, to allow those students who sort of sat in the back of the classroom and didn't have much to say an opportunity to come to the front of the classroom to speak, and also to have an opportunity to be a part of the academic conversation. I thought it was important to have a voice from the very top of the class, and that they should feel comfortable with each other. My idea is to have a compassionate classroom, so it's an opportunity to express your feelings about something and probably not even use words to express them, but to be able to express them nonetheless. We will do a series of exercises which involve both movement and observation. So there is a movement component that a small percentage of the class is involved in, and then there's the rest of the class who are observing and then making a determination on what is taking place, and then we have an open discussion on that. So we try to do several approaches to opening up this idea of conversation in the classroom. So even the observations are based on not only seeing, but being able to explain what they saw. And for the students that are actually creating the work, it's also for them to critically consider what it is they want to do. And sometimes maybe not even to think about that so much, just to do it and just to be okay and not to have to think about what does this mean, how will people see me. We try to have a classroom that's not considered to be judgmental. So what occurs is students feel that they are more a part of the environment, they're a part of the class, they're a part of each other. So that is the ultimate goal.
About 3 years ago, my colleagues and I noticed that there were some deficiencies in our students' writing that needed to be addressed. And it wasn't just so much grammar and punctuation, but more of a context-based problems and transfer of knowledge. We weren't seeing the content from the courses coming through in the students' written work. We sat down as a department and did some brainstorming to figure out what was the best way to approach these problems that we were seeing. And since there were a variety of problems, we came up with a variety of solutions. And the first one was to develop a video about plagiarism. With the summer grant from the Vice President of Instruction, my colleague Paul Taylor and I developed a video to help students recognize methods and techniques that they could use to avoid plagiarizing when they have to reference outside sources or bring in content. Then we realized that these were issues that were being seen throughout all departments. And so we made sure that it was available not just on the CCBC website, but also on YouTube. The plagiarism video can be used as a resource for any professor or teacher throughout the college that might be having difficulty with students inadvertently plagiarizing in any of their writing assignments. We also sat down as a department and reviewed our rubrics and our writing assignments, and taking a cue from the English department, decided ways that we could make sure that they were more uniform and more consistent throughout the department, so that students need not to worry so much about what one teacher was asking for as opposed to what another teacher was asking for. So developing these uniform assignments and assessment tools really helps students understand that their writing could be improved throughout all of their coursework. We also developed a writing program as part of our initiative, whereas students can come in and talk with me as a writing tutor within the department. And the benefits of this is that I can act as a liaison with students and their teachers. And not only can I provide them with the assistance they need to develop their written work, but also I can work with their teachers and make sure that the content or the context of the courses appears in the writing. And so I not only am able to help students with regards to just problems with grammar and structure, but also to make sure that they understand the content of the material that's being taught in the classes and to make sure that information is transferred into their assignments. We've been keeping track of the number of students who've been coming through this writing program for the past 3 years now. We've been finding that the number of students increases every semester. And this semester, we've actually seen more students at this point than we've seen in the previous 2 years. We've also been asking students just for feedback, and they've always had positive feedback. And we have many students who come back continually because they realize that their grades are improving, and it's not as if any of the work that they have been developing and processing and resubmitting is getting a lower grade. So we've seen positive results throughout the entire program.